At that time, John Lennon was like feeling self-conscious about being this like pop star. And he met Yoko. And Yoko at the time, everyone just thinks about her as breaking up the Beatles and all this, but she was like a super freaking cool. She was like such a cool artist.
Yeah, she was an artist.
And she was in that scene. What were they called?
The Fluxus scene.
She was in the Fluxus scene, whatever that is.
That's like a hard name just to be a dick.
Yeah.
You don't want to call it like, I don't know, like the Bowery compound and like Fluxus Stream.
Well, that's what the alt scene did with like, come go do the Dirty Bird show.
Yeah. Come to Rizzy Alligator.
Yeah.
We don't do jokes.
Yeah, come to Stray Breast Milk.
I'm gonna read my shopping list and then I'm gonna sigh.
Did you get a spot at Stray Breast Milk?
And then the industry
made it.
And then the industry was like, we'll take all of them and give them millions.
Yeah. So she was a part of that, and he started like he wanted to be. He probably even started dating her because he desperately wanted to be seen as an artist and be in that scene because it was all these avant-garde artists. It wasn't just her. So Jesse put that in the context, like, oh, John Lennon was like going, I want to be cool.
Yeah.
So he rejected the Beatles because he wanted to be cool because the cool thing was becoming the mainstream thing.
Yeah.
So it's like the way people now want to be like famous, back then it was like, let's be cool because that's going to be big bucks pretty soon.
Yeah, that was he got his ear pierced and showed up.
Yeah.
It was like, notice anything different?
Yeah, and he started wearing an army jacket, but also saying we don't need war. It's like, all right.
The best is...
That was like the first ironic outfit. He was wearing like a military jacket, but he was going like, imagine all the people.
No war.
No more war.
I think I might have brought it up on an episode of your podcast, but have you ever seen the picture of him and Yoko waiting for the maid to change the bed so that they can protest? They're both like holding pillows.
You haven't, and I'm glad you did here. Yeah.
And it's so funny. And it's like a woman making their bed, and they're like, we're protesting against rich people.
Yeah,
like, now make my bed, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, nobody can be poor. And then you're like, you're in the Dakota.
That's like crazy.
You're in the most famous building on Central Park West.
You live next to an oil tycoon.
Yeah, you are
there
not. Yeah, there he is.
Oh, man. That hurts. That hurts the cause right there.
She's actually even wearing a maid outfit.
Yeah, that was back when they made him dress like Maid in Manhattan.
Yoko looks like a Vietnamese war refugee.
Is she
looks
looking
like
away?
she's running from napalm.
And then Lennon's there. He's like, can you do navy corners? I was wondering if you could do it tight and fold on it.
At least the maid's not black.
Yeah, that would have been.
That would have been tough.
I would wear a different color of that shirt every day.
Yeah. And he might have yelled at her in between cuts.
Goes,
when the camera wasn't rolling.
Take the picture. You're fat and you smell like cigarettes. She's like, mister, I'm just trying to make your bed. This is probably in New York.
Oh,
so she's like,
she was more of a Polish. She was more like a Polish maid. That's a new white. That's a new white right there.
Fresh off the docks.
Romanian, Hungarian, some sort of former communist republic.
Where they had to eat porridge stew.
Yeah,
and then
she
get
swam here. She swam here from a former communist Yugoslavia.
She brings up the Bolsheviks.
Yeah.
And then Lennon goes, yeah, that's all fine and nice, but I want to get back in my bedsies.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is he's probably sitting there going about how, we should be communists according to each and their need. And she's like, I just came here from, they murdered my whole family.
Whole family came in when we were practicing.
I'm here for capitalist opportunities. Like, don't say that now.
I don't make the bed. No. He's like, no one asked you what your stupid thoughts on capitalism were. She goes, I watched whole family be assassinated in front of baby. I say to him, let me have baby. He says, I kill baby first. He goes, yeah, that's all good. I ordered an orange juice. Where was the orange juice? Did you have the orange juice? That thing we were really trying to get there? Oh, that's crazy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked the bagel's not toasted.
That's the thing. It's just, you're always going to find a little hypocrisy. And the more I live and the more I look into it, it just seems there are no solutions. There's only comedy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all flawed, imperfect hypocrites. And you got to be able to laugh at yourself and see that. John Lennon probably thought of himself as the purest thing possible after he paid his maid in cash off the books.
Oh, dude. If he paid her at all.
If he paid her at all, yeah.
He's like, who are you going to tell me to? Do you understand how many people in the American government love the Beatles?
Yeah. So that was interesting to me when Jesse put it into context. Like, oh, I didn't know there was a whole scene. I didn't know Yoko was one of the stars of that scene. And I didn't know
Oh.
John Lennon was courting that scene and wanted to be a part of that scene because he knew that that was the new hot shit.
Them
You know?
them turning off her microphone when John Lennon's performing
Bill,
with Chuck.
Bill Burr's thing on that.
It's the best.
It's the greatest.
It's the
Yeah,
best. It's
yeah.
like Chuck Berry's look but Chuck Berry looking over at her like, I'll piss on bitches and this is nuts.
And it's also funny that was at the time, you know, people were eating that up as like art. Because what somebody else did some sort of art thing back then that was like really famous. What was that?
Well,
they were
Yoko-
cutting off a piece of their.
That was
their
Yoko's piece. It was called Cut Piece. And she would go to an auditorium, and then anyone in the auditorium can come in and cut a piece of her clothes off. And then, it would devolve. People would start cutting around her boobs. And it was a strange...
The first guy to do the perverted one, everyone goes, all right.
Yeah.
He's like making that noise. He's like...
Oh, you can hear, and the crowd starts to heckle, and they say, "Well, that's a little too close." But it actually was an interesting art piece because it kind of showed how mobs and crowds react.